that one.
Okay. Check in that blue box behind you. Who else is coming out there? Yes, honey. No. You remember that was the long one.
I know, but I don't see it on the back.
It wouldn't be back there, it'd be up here. I didn't have it back there.
Up here where?
He looks for the box. Whenever you guys are ready. Ready when you are. One and three. Fading it in.
Hey everyone, I'm Gina Kenny with Epic, ensuring parole for incarcerated citizens.
I'm Alexis Stores with Epic as well.
Today we are here with, by any means, Karina Brewington. She is here on behalf of BAM. Normally they start the show and come in and talk about the things that they've been doing for the week and the plans that they have in the near future. Karina, it's your show, darling. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Karina Brewington. I am a part of BAM. I'm kind of like a jack of all trades when it comes to what I do in our group, our organization. I do research and outreach and JPays and Instagrams and Twitter. I answer the JPay email sometimes like everybody else does. But anyway, I am located in Springfield, Ohio, as Teresa and Tamora are up in the Akron area. And also Heidi and Chrissy are in the Springfield area, which is more central Ohio. Let's see what we're doing. Right now we are seeking, we are trying to get life skills set up and get into the prisons and start doing some programming in there. We are looking for resources for housing and jobs for formerly incarcerated persons. So this is throughout the state of Ohio. It's not just Akron and Springfield. If anybody knows of anything, please get a hold of us. Our email is byandymeans@gmail.com, BYENYmeanz@gmail.com. Also too, let's see, I just wanted to touch on some things as far as what's going on inside the prisons. I contact a lot of the women's prisons, and I'm always looking for people that I can JPay in there to find out what they are needing inside the prisons, what programs were working before. You know, I hear a lot about, I can't think of the name of it right now. Delisa, you're going to have to help me out. There was one that was big. My brain's not working. Tapestry. That was one of the big ones.
Right.
I finally pulled it out. That helped a lot of women inside of ORW. And we want to get programs like that put together. And let's see, I'm reading through my notes here. A thing that you may not know, I don't know if we touched on it in past discussions about the women living in the they call it the White House area of ORW, and they are still there. They've been there since August, and they're still there, and the conditions in that area were pretty bad, especially during the winter. And with the warmer temperatures coming around, I kind of concerned about the ventilation and the air in that area. ORW still has a few cases of COVID there. That's why they're not opening up for visitation.
I think those are the only ones they haven't opened up yet, too. I mean, not all of them have opened up.
Yeah, DCI is opened up. I'm not sure about NERC. I don't think they've opened up yet. And then there's different men's prisons that's opened up. I think Lebanon.
I actually go for my first visit Friday.
Yeah. There's a list on the ODRC site, right?
Yes, there is.
Okay. The college courses are opening back up. My daughter, she's incarcerated. She's taken business and entrepreneurship through Sinclair Community College or Sinclair College. I'm think of Clark State College here. So that is opening back up. That started in February. Now I need to get more information about the programming and college courses that are opening up in the other prisons. That's one of the things I got to get. That's part of my homework to find that out. If you're formerly incarcerated and you want to do something for the people back where you came from, reach out to us. You know, I don't have any experience inside of a prison. Okay. So what we think is good for you may not be. So we need your ideas.
For
We need your thoughts. You know, you're a valuable source. So get in touch with us too. Another thing is wrong word. The residents are being vaccinated according to the same rules as everyone else. DeWine finally came through and told us that this past week because there was a lot of questions about that as far as the COVID goes. And I got my first COVID shot and it was fine. I got the Moderna shot, sore arm, basically a little tired. That's all.
Good. That's good.
And I have other health issues. But I myself want to start going in to the different prisons and visiting with people just to get a one-on-one with what they've been through and hear their stories and things like that. So that's one of my goals to do that. And let's see what else I'm trying to follow. Yeah, I'm not a big talker.
On the spot, normally we have 3 sorts more in here.
Yeah, I'm a small group type of person, but okay. I'll just focus like we're in a small group. Okay.
There you go.
Also to kind of something that was touched on last night, when I was listening to the radio show last night with Tamora and Solomon and a few other people. I'm sorry, I did not catch your names, but they were saying, you know, if you haven't figured out what your hustle is this year, then you're not doing anything. So my thing is that what have our loved ones been thinking of this whole year without any services inside the prisons? I'm talking mental health, education. You know, they've been hustling in there because we know that there's a few shady things going on in there.
For sure.
But my thought is, how did they not have some kind of backup for education through the electronics that they have in there, as far as legal electronics, like the tablets and things like that? Why didn't they come up with something? Because the kids are going to school online and that.
I've always thought it should be, even since the beginning, they should have been streaming some type of, especially those in like addiction recovery.
Exactly.
To them, some type of a program, even some type of a church service, even if it was the chaplain of each institution, maybe even once a week, you know, getting
because I know that there's a church in London that my husband was going to, and they were broadcasting every Sunday. So, and a lot of the churches went to broadcasting. So it's not something, I just don't understand. It couldn't have cost that much to be able to broadcast something like that, instead of just leaving them there to sit on their thumbs and go crazy in there. And they did, some of them have, and they've turned to the drug situation that's in there, because I've had to deal with that with mine twice. She got a hold of stuff in there, and not exactly sure what it was. Luckily, it didn't kill her.
You can't hear on the radio. I'm sorry, Karina. We're having some technical difficulties.
Okay.
No static link. There's no sound. So I know we're good here. Our viewers that are watching live can see us. We are trying, if you're watching from the no static radio link, fixing the sound in a moment there. Go ahead, Karina.
I was just saying that the situation with the drugs getting inside the prisons during COVID and before, I've had to deal with that twice with my daughter, and luckily she didn't get a hold of something that could have killed her. It's sad because we know, as families on the outside, it's not us. So
we're good now. Thank you, Tamara. Thank
so
you.
What do we do about that too?
You didn't? She said she can hear now.
You hear me now?
No, it's not you. We were having some issues. Tamara is watching no static radio link, and she said there was no sound. However, it miraculously started again. So that's amazing.
Okay, good. But we need to, I know it's been gone over, but we need to start looking at the people that were electing into these offices.
Absolutely, that's where it starts.
Yeah, and representatives, prosecutors, judges. My daughter's in for addiction issues related.
Prison's no place for her right now. I mean,
Right, right.
There's not prisons. We need rehabilitation centers. We need mental health treatment. We need, drug abuse treatment. They're
I have a drug and alcohol place within walking distance of my house, 5 minutes.
right.
A treatment center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we tried when she was going up to get sentenced, she pled guilty, and we either said, she can do that or go to Toledo Correctionals. It's a community-based correctional for people that have had issues with drug abuse. And then she had been to West Central, which is in Marysville, before and did their 6-month program. But the thing about it is they wait until the people are close to the end of their sentences before they get any kind of programming. Why did they wait until the back end? Why don't they hit them from the get-go?
Exactly.
Right.
Because if they're in there sitting on their rears and having time to think about all of the things that the hustle, that's not good for somebody that's an addict.
Right. For sure.
So you're just making it's a prime place. Like she'll go in there, like people have said, you'll go in there and you be, just your basic drug user, addict, whatever you prefer. But then you'll come out with more criminal tools in your mind to be able to use on the outside because they're not addressing the issues when they first get there.
Right. Right. We even
So,
I think too that with the drugs getting in the prisons now, you have a chance of picking up something when that wasn't your drug of choice, or you weren't even an addict before. Now all of a sudden you have access to it. So we're creating problems by allowing the drugs to get in and not addressing it.
Right. And
right.
at least 80% of it's coming from the correctional, the staff themselves. And it's not being addressed because they wouldn't, the way I feel about the whole, correctional officer, they're one big gang themselves. They're always going to stand together. And it's very, very few, other than in Cuyahoga County. I do have to say, in Cuyahoga County jail, they expose a lot of drugs when it comes from employees. But not every county jail or prison, especially prison, like very rarely hear about it in Ohio prison. Florida, I know they actually expose.
They say this is what happened.
Expose what they brought in.
That's
if they was
interesting.
charged or not. Yeah, I would like to look into that to try to get something like that passed in Ohio.
Right, because after it happens, we hear about it through somebody on the inside.
And you know what? All we do is reach out to reporters and journalists. And,
Right.
I did do that. We had reports from several different people in different blocks in Marion that a CO there brought in like $24,000 of drugs. The way he was, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there really quick for people that aren't understanding of what K2 or synthetic weed is. Nowadays, what they're doing is they're spraying paper. And what they're doing is, it might not even be K2, it could be roach spray. This is what we're getting reports of. Meth, I guess it could be sprayed on paper as well. So what they're doing is they're printing news articles, or they're printing like some type of sports article or whatever, and they're handing it off to the CO, like, here, get this to me later. This is how they're getting it on the inside. You can Google. There's many different ways that they're getting it inside the prisons, whether it be through their hat, through their lunch. I think we were talking about it last week. Someone had something in the middle of their salad.
Mhm. I'm just wondering what happened in that case, because we really didn't dig too much deep into it. I'm
The
wondering.
Marion case, I did get a hold of 2 reporters, and one local Cleveland reporter was willing to do a report on it, but the problem was there was no charges.
So there, what? That's what I was trying to figure out. And he or she probably still has their job.
Probably. I haven't looked them up in the account checkbook, but maybe I'll put that on my to-do list, but probably.
Interesting, isn't it?
And then just this thing with DCI, I was watching one of the organizations that we because they had live about incarcerated women, and it puts it into perspective. Like these male COs are having relations with these females. And the females, the incarcerated women, are the ones being penalized for that. All they're doing is moving, and it doesn't even have to be a male correctional officer. Let's just put that out there. It could be any CO. But COs are having relations with women, these incarcerated women, and the incarcerated women are the ones that are being moved and penalized. But the the correction officers are getting moved, but the incarcerated women are being penalized for it. And it makes no sense. Like, even the CEO should be held accountable. Period. They're committing crimes just as much as the people out here on the street are committing crimes.
Well, it's some rules have not. It goes back to the training and the vetting of these people that are becoming COs.
Training.
There should be, there should be more, like a cosmetologist has to go through so many hours, and a police officer has to go through so many hours, and the correctional officer has to go in and work in a place that's confined with a crazy amount of people, and you need to be right in your head before you can go deal with people that are on all different levels, you know.
Right.
Yeah, that's just basic psychology right there.
Right.
So one thing I kind of want to mention, though, I have a brother that is a professor, and he did studies out in Oregon prisons, and he teaches transcendental meditation, and he was doing studies on how transcendental meditation calms people and reduces their reaction to situations, you know, reducing their emotional and spiritual triggers. And there's California's ahead of California and Oregon.
They're definitely
is ahead of us on the curve of different programs to help people deal with their emotions and things like that, so they don't get into these situations where they're using drugs or just being in a confined environment. I mean, we got to do something different, because what we're doing is not working. We need to invest in mental health and drug addiction services, We need to build people up instead of tearing them down,
Absolutely.
basically.
And offering resources.
Right. Because we've been too long where it's just me. And we need to, after this last year, we need to get back to us as a whole, as a world, as a
Right.
town, as a county, start small and build back up, because you just can't throw people away.
For sure.
So, well, I think I'm going to pass it on because I think I've blabbered.
You did great, Karina.
Thank you.
Stay with us. You can stay in the discussion. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'll step off the podium here.
Well, thanks for joining us, Karina. We definitely appreciate it. For those listening, this was Karina with the band By Any Means. We are here today, as every Wednesday, spreading love unapologetically. Phone lines are open. Phone number is 216-939-5087. If you'd like to call in, you have any questions, just want to chat with us, anything, please call in. Thanks, Karina, again for joining us here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
Do you see that flash?
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. Gay Lisa, would you like to go up, or you want to go last? Gay Lisa did join us in studio.
Hi, everybody.
with her little man. Who'd you bring us today?
My grandson.
Teaching them young.
Well,
Teaching them
hello,
young.
hello. I seen you in the car. I seen you.
Yes, he was joining in for a second.
Yeah. So y'all go ahead.
All right. Today, Lex and I are going to talk about wrongful conviction.
Seems to be like a hot topic across the country.
Yes. Actually, in a couple of weeks, I was wanting to do a special seminar with a wrongful conviction special seminar. I won't go off topic and put it out there yet because I'm still working on it, but it's not going to be. But I wanted to do something because we're actually approaching the 6-month mark, the halfway mark of Wrongful Conviction Day. And for those that don't know, it's my favorite. October 2nd every year is Wrongful Conviction Day. Here in the United States, 54% of wrongful convictions are results of police and prosecutor misconduct. And for those that know me know that I have been actively investigating my husband's case, who is wrongfully incarcerated right now. He's been incarcerated for 20 years. He was sentenced as a juvenile.
That's a whole nother layer to that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been crazy. And for those that have gotten to know me over the years, or even have known me all my life or known him, have known it's been a lot of work. And I wish more families had the determination and the drive and the time, because it's time consuming. I've been fighting his case for 6 years now. And it's a lot of work. And the reason why I am an activist and I fight for all of the incarcerated as a whole is because I know that my husband is not the only one. Mm-hmm. I know there are many more that are sitting in there, that have been sitting in there for decades beyond their time, beyond their minimums, beyond my husband's time, who, like I said, 20 years as a juvenile. He was sentenced to 36 years to life over hearsay. And since I've been investigating, there is a lot of police misconduct, a lot of prosecutor misconduct. It's sad. I found DNA evidence that was never discussed during trial. We have contact with, not that we have contact. There was contact made out to us by someone that was a part of the jury and basically told us, like she's even said, like none of this was presented. And she feels horrible. So, I just thought it would be a great topic for us to go ahead and discuss. And here in a couple of weeks, we do have a couple of people coming in studio with us. I've been working on trying to fill up our schedule a little bit, so it's not just Lex and I you get to see, but some real special guests. But Alfred Cleveland has agreed to come sit with us in studio along with his wife. He was wrongfully incarcerated and was granted his release by the parole board system, the unjust parole board system. And then I'm working on a couple other people. So make sure you're staying tuned every Wednesday, 4 to 6, spreading love unapologetically. What do you got to say about wrongful incarceration?
Prior to my work or even just becoming more involved in advocacy work, my husband's been incarcerated for over 25 years. So I'm very familiar with, the prison system. He's not wrongfully convicted. So that's not a battle that we're fighting. But the more that I see happening, whether it's through acquaintances or other friends, they're fighting this battle, and it literally pains my soul. Can you imagine having not committing a crime and you are sitting in prison for decades? And I know that a lot of times I get real emotional, like when I see something, even with our friend, the kids, Ricky Kidd, who was wrongfully convicted, to see or to hear their story of what they've, fought for. And, you can't give up because you'll let them win.
You'll let the system
You'll
win.
let the system
Yes.
win. And like Gina said, family support, means everything. And it's an uphill battle when you're fighting to get records from prosecutors or the police or,
Yeah, I had
lawyers.
many denials from Cuyahoga County prosecutors. Even with the police records, they denied us. And I've known my husband since we were 12 years old. We're 37 now.
Yeah.
But it's insane. You can't give up. You have to stay persistent. You have to keep pressure. You have to let them know that, you're not going to give up. I'm entitled to these. I'm a tax-paying citizen. We are entitled to public records under the Sunshine Law Act.
And just, I just can't imagine. I mean, what your husband goes through. I just can't imagine. And then knowing all of that, possibly bitterness.
Right.
I can't see how that would not come into play. Anger, bitterness, resentment. You can go
Trust issues.
Trust. You can go one of two ways with that.
Yeah.
You can fight and you can try to maintain who you are and who you are, or you can succumb to the inside and what, even just folding into yourself.
Right.
It could change your life one of two ways. So it just makes me happy when I see homecomings because they made it. Like they fought. They didn't lose themselves. They believed in themselves enough to keep fighting and to have other people fight for them. And it's really bittersweet, and it's heartfelt.
When I want to tear up now just thinking about it because I've seen many of homecomings where men and women were incarcerated for decades. 20, 30, sometimes Ronnie Long, 40 years, 44 years.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? And most of them are being wrongfully incarcerated as young men, as children. Brains not even fully developed. There's science nowadays that say that our brains don't mature until we're 25. Men, until we're 25.
Yeah.
They say women, we mature quicker and we're smarter. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's true.
But it is true.
Yeah.
It's true. I'll co-sign with you on that. It's true.
We ain't men bashing. No men bashing.
But yeah.
It's just it's sad. And you had mentioned Ricky Kidd, a great partner of Epic's. I Am Resilience. Him and his wife Ricky and Dawn Kidd. He suffered 23 years of wrongful incarceration in the state of Missouri. Was facing a double life without parole sentence. Said he went up 11 times. 11 times. Was denied 10.
And to the governor's office.
Right.
And
yeah.
Can you imagine that? like
denied.
I
had to
can't-
keep getting up and fighting stronger, harder, and not giving up, not caving in, not folding, 10 toes down, chin up. But I love them to death because Ricky has been exonerated for the last, it was since 2018. And last year they did a Freedom Lap tour and they touched down in as many states as they could. And basically was bringing awareness to wrongful incarceration and sharing his story and his testimony. And I'll tell you what, I've watched him tell his story probably 20 times by now.
Yeah.
And every time I tear up, it touches my heart every single time because, I feel one day that, I know that that's going to be me. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. How easy it is to be just slipped into the system.
Or told, oh no, you're lying. We
Right.
know you did
My
it.
husband's judge, Nancy McDonald.
Hey, Nance.
Hey, Nancy. She basically told my husband that he was no good for society. As a child, as a 17-year-old child, just turned 17. And he has always claimed his innocence since day one. It's even in the transcripts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy that I feel she had already had him convicted before the jury did. And we are being told now that the jury was in fact hung.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another issue is, these juries are juries of people's peers, but they're really not.
Not when you're a 17-year-old on
Definitely
the
not.
stand.
Definitely not.
And for other reasons too.
Right, right,
They're
right.
not.
I
they're
mean,
not
you
your
get a lot of
peers.
the, jury bias with, young black men going up and it's all white juror.
racial bias.
I mean, really? So yeah, it's really real and it's very serious for people to really start paying attention to people that are screaming out for help, that they are innocent and that they are wrongfully incarcerated because there's programs and there is one here in Ohio. It's called Beyond Guilt. And what Beyond Guilt does, David Singleton, amazing man, it gives men and women an opportunity to come forth with redemption and show remorse for the crime that they committed. So it's kind of like what it would be for like a wrongful conviction project, but for those that are in fact guilty of their crimes, they're just coming forth with, like I said, redemption and remorse. And they help these people, whether it be time served or sentence reduction or whatever it may be. But there's really no reason for people to claim innocence. I mean, and I'm not going to say people don't lie. I'm going to say people don't lie. But people that have truly been fighting for 30 years for their freedom and their innocence,
Come on, like
someone has to listen to them. And one of our great correspondents, William Montgomery, he is incarcerated in Trumbull. He was sentenced to the death penalty, was granted a stay. He is still fighting his case. And his, their slogan's too much doubt. They have the evidence that he's innocent and he is still incarcerated. And that's another issue is, we have people that do have lawyers and OIP fighting for them, and it's then deemed that they're in fact innocent, yet they're still sitting and
still there, right?
For what? For what?
It's
profit.
Really, you said
It goes to show you, like, it's
money.
seriously all about the money.
And these are people's lives.
Convict
these are
leasing.
right. These
Google
are
it.
Google it. Yeah, these are our loved ones. They're yours. They're your neighbors. They're people that you don't even realize that you deal with on a day-to-day basis. It affects everyone. What is that? 6 degrees of separation. There's somebody in your circle that you either know, don't know, or do know,
Or will know.
that is going to, be affected by incarceration.
For
Period.
sure.
And we say it all the time. We're all about spreading knowledge and exposing
Empowering
what we
and
can,
educating. Yeah,
educating
we
so
have to.
that people do know.
Spreading love unapologetically every day, not just on Wednesdays.
So yeah, wrongful conviction.
And we
is-
want to thank No Static Radio for giving us this opportunity because they rock. They
absolutely.
rock. They rock. Gay Lisa, as well as our host. Hey, Solomon. How are you?
But yeah,
Long time
wrongful
no see.
conviction. That's like I said. You can pick up any newspaper or look online. There's a story on social media daily.
If not like 5. I mean, seriously,
right.
every day you're seeing some type of article of someone coming home. Like I said, Alfred Cleveland, he'll be on in a couple of weeks. He just recently came home. And actually, I'm very thankful for our exonerees in Ohio because one thing that Ricky said, like the problem with the exonerees are they get out and they just disappear. Like they're back on, living their life and they're not coming back for all the other ones that are rightfully deserving, obviously, to come home too. But here in Ohio, Ruel Saylor, Larice Glover, Derek Wheat, all of them, they have a very great bond together. Any type of, someone's coming out that is being exonerated in Ohio, they're all meeting up to go welcome this guy home. They're providing them resources. They actually have a house. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't know.
They have an Ohio exoneree house.
Okay.
I believe it's, hold on a second, Charles Jackson and I can't think of his name right now. But yeah, they actually offer them. I mean, it's amazing.
And they do a lot of not speaking their
Events.
voices. Their voice.
Yes,
Yeah,
they're
they have-
always telling their testimonies. They're always raising their voices. They're still fighting for the ones that are left behind. Last year, Epic did a wrongful conviction rally for Wrongful Conviction Day outside of Cuyahoga County Justice Center. And, Ruel Saylor showed up, Larice Glover showed up, Derek showed up, and they tried to pull them all in. Unfortunately, it was freezing that day. So I can understand why people got discouraged, but I feel like if the weather was better, we definitely would have had hundreds of people down there in the streets. And that's what it takes. Like Ruel will tell you in his testimony that it took his family protesting outside the Justice Center, reaching out to media. His wife, Amy, she's an amazing woman. Like she's my inspiration, her and Melinda Elkins, but, kept fighting. You have to keep fighting. You cannot give up. You cannot fold to these people. They feel like they're untouchable. And we have to make sure that we're holding those of authority accountable. Another thing with wrongful convictions and something that we're long-term working with, we know it's going to take power with numbers and building a village, but immunity. You hear people talk about qualified immunity all the time, but there's a thing called absolute immunity. And what absolute immunity means is that prosecutors and judges and et cetera cannot be held accountable for their mess ups. I feel when someone is exonerated, that judge and that prosecutor, there should be some type of a charge. I mean, obstruction of justice or, something. There should be some type of accountability, but there's not. There's absolutely not. So it's time for us as the people to stand up and raise our voices because we're making noise. We just need to be a little bit louder and realize the true effects of mass incarceration, whether it be sentence disparities, juveniles being convicted 40 years to life. Because, I mean, what child do you know is not a changed person by the time they're 20? I mean, I have an 18-year-old child, and he is not. I mean, he's not even the same, and he's 18. He's still my baby. But he's so much more mature now than he was even when he was 16. So even 10 years, just imagine how much you've changed in 10 years.
Yep.
They say normally it's 7. Within 7 years, everybody changes to some type of different point. So we just have to keep making noises. I was actually gonna name some of the ones in Ohio.
Yeah.
Ohio Innocence Project. Now, there's more than 30. By any means, is there more than 30? Unfortunately, the Ohio Innocence Project only has so much time to take on so many cases.
And they're
They're backlogged.
in-depth.
Right. They're backlogged. You have to have certain type of evidence, etc. And I could share a personal story, but we'll wait a couple of weeks. Y'all just have to tune in because I'm not trying to get my hopes up too much. But anyways, Ohio Innocence Project has had 30 people to date exonerated, and they're working on so many more. The very first one is Clarence Elkins. He sat behind bars for 7.5 years for a crime he did not commit. His ex-wife, Melinda, fought tooth and nail to bring him true justice to his case of murdering her mother. Chris Bennett spent 4 years in prison for a vehicular homicide, a conviction that was reversed by the Ohio Court of Appeals in 2006. DNA evidence and an eyewitness, both secured with help from students at Cincinnati Law, helped lead to his exoneration. Unfortunately, he was exonerated in 2006. He passed away in 2009. Bruce Paul, convicted of unlawful sexual conduct in 1993, always maintained his innocence. He was exonerated in 2008 after serving 14 years in prison. Now, that's the one that gets me the most. And I know a lot of people are against, oh my God, there are sex offenders. Oh my God, this. Oh my God, that. We need to step outside the box and really think upon that. I mean, myself as a woman and hanging out with my brother's friends and, a lot of guys and stuff, like, I've seen other girls pin things on guys that never even happened. So what I'm trying to say is it's easy for women to lie and scream rape.
Sure.
I don't condone, obviously, certain sexual acts, especially, obviously, when a child's involved. But we can't deem all sex offenders the same. And even after years of incarceration and rehabilitating themselves and changing themselves, we really need to start looking at people from the inside versus who they were or once was or what they were convicted of.
Exactly.
People change. Every day people change. And someone that wants to change definitely changes, and it happens within themselves. Nobody can make anyone change. We have Robert Mcclendon. He served 18 years in prison after being wrongfully convicted of the rape of a 10-year-old girl. His exoneration in 2008 came after advanced DNA testing proved he did not contribute to the evidence found in the girl's underwear. Again. Joseph Fears. He spent 25 years incarcerated after being convicted in connection to a pair of rapes committed in Columbus, Ohio. And this is what I wanted. This is kind of what I wanted to bring to light was, people are, against sex offenders and stuff like that. But like I said, you really need to think outside the box and realize how many people were rightfully exonerated because of lies,
Right.
because of police misconduct.
It's just it's that fine line, but you can't, you have to try to be really objective about that. Now, you're entitled to opinion or whatever, but just look at the facts, especially, as it comes out, and we just
people are too quick to judge.
That's
And
what I was just
shame.
gonna say. Just from a compassion standpoint, just to give people a second look, and the same people that may have been hollering when the conviction happened could be this, a total change. Like, oh wow, but you didn't give that a chance from the beginning,
Absolutely.
So, but that's a touchy subject for a lot of people, and I understand why. But the amount of exonerations that we see from rape cases or any type of sexual battery abuse cases is pretty evident. Just in the first 4 you just read, 3 of them were?
Correct. Yeah, majority of them have been. And then we have Nancy Smith. She served 15 years for child molestation before being exonerated when a Lorain County Common Pleas Court judge granted a new trial, then acquitted her in 2009. And that's a woman.
A woman. So
with children, and, I've been a victim, and I'll never forget how horrible I was interrogated as a 5-year-old child with the Cabbage Patch dolls, with them basically telling me and coaching me what to say. Willie Knighton He served 12 years for a murder he did not commit after the judge, who had been diagnosed with a terminal illness, confessed to the parole board that he had been mistaken in finding Knighton guilty of killing an innocent bystander at a convenience store shootout. Raymond Toller, he spent 29 years in prison for a crime he did not commit before he was released in 2010. At the time, the Cleveland man was the longest serving wrongfully incarcerated person to be released in Ohio history and one of the longest in United States history. In 81, an armed gunman had raped an 11-year-old child in the park and forced her cousin to watch. A few weeks later, a park ranger stopped the 24-year-old Toller for a traffic violation and arrested him because he believed he was the person who resembled the suspect. Mistaken identity. Teddy Mosley, he was convicted in 2000 of 2 counts of aggravated vehicular assault and 3 counts of involuntary manslaughter when the car he was in spun out of control, crossed the center line, struck a minivan. The jury determined he was driving when the accident occurred, and he was sentenced to 11 years. After his conviction, 5 people came forward to indicate that they had been at the scene shortly after the accident, and they knew Mosley had been in the back seat. All of them claimed that the police knew of their presence on scene, but failed to contact any of them for testimony. Once again, police misconduct. And another thing about wrongful convictions that's really, really sad is a lot of them take 20 years.
Yeah.
Decades.
Because it's so an in-depth case. You know, a lot of them are older cases that DNA wasn't available, so you're already fighting that uphill battle.
Right.
But it's very involved, you know, and it's very involved. It could take years and years.
For sure. Wally Zimmer, he spent 12 years in prison for a murder conviction that took students at Ohio Innocence Project more than 5 years to prove he was unjust. DNA testing found another suspect's DNA all over the crime scene, including on clothes bindings that were used to tie the victim. He was released in 2011. David Ayers, he spent 11 years in prison for murdering a 76-year-old woman who lived in the public housing complex where he had been employed as a security guard. He steadfastly claimed his innocence of the 1999 crime, but it wasn't until 2011 that he was freed after advanced DNA testing facilitated by OIP excluded him as the potential perpetrator. And then we got Roger Giulepsy, which he's doing amazing things. Dean, he spent 20 years in prisons for rapes he had always maintained that he did not commit. His case was taken back in 2003, but he walked out of prison 3 days before Christmas in 2011. So, I mean, it took 7 years.
Right.
7 years for experts.
To determine all that. And everything moves super slow, but in these cases, like, that's somebody's life.
Absolutely.
That's somebody's life. So.
I mean, right. One wrong move, you know, it all got them there. And one more wrong move, it could take the rest of their lives away.
Yep.
Bryant Gaines. He was a free man in 2012 after serving 9 years of a life sentence for a murder that both he and OIP say he did not commit. Glenn Tenney. He confessed in 92 to killing a man whom he could not identify and whose death took place in 1988. He was convicted solely based upon his confession with no other evidence linking him to the Mansfield, Ohio crime. He was freed in 2013, more than 20 years of being incarcerated. Douglas Prade, he served 15 years of a life sentence for the murder of his ex-wife. Dewey Jones, 20 years in prison after being convicted of killing a 71-year-old person who was shot in the head twice at close range. That he was convicted in 1993. In April of 2012, DNA tests obtained by OIP showed the blood on 3 pieces of evidence: rope used to tie Rankin's wrists, a knife used to cut the rope, and Rankin's shirt, and it excluded Dewey Jones from the DNA.
So that was from what, 93 to, what'd you say,
12?
12?
And then he was released in 2014. Ricky Jackson. We love Ricky Jackson.
We love Ricky. Shout out to Ricky.
Yes, Ricky Jackson. Ricky spent 39 years. 39 years in prison for a crime he did not commit. In 2014, he set the record for the longest serving person to be exonerated in U.S. history. So like I said, it is a problem everywhere. We spoke about Ricky Kidd, who was incarcerated or exonerated in Missouri. But here in Ohio, we have some serious, serious problems. And I am going to throw it out there that a lot of our exonerees were in fact exonerated from Cuyahoga County.
Yeah.
For those listening, that is where we are currently sitting in studio in Cuyahoga County, Cleveland, Ohio. A lot of them, like I said, they were all convicted in Cuyahoga County, and they're still doing it. He was convicted because of a 12-year-old boy who later recanted his story, and that's what granted him his exoneration. Willie Bridgman, he was exonerated in 2014 after serving 39 years behind bars. He was also convicted with Ricky Jackson. I can never pronounce this name.
Take a shot at it.
Kwam Ajumu was previously known as Ronnie Bridgman, was exonerated for the same crime as his brother Willie and Ricky Jackson. He served 28 years of his life in prison, and he was released in 2014-15. And then here goes a couple more of our guys. Derek Wheat, Larice Glover, and Eugene Johnson. As I stated, Derek and Larice were in solidarity with us outside of Cuyahoga County Justice Center on Wrongful Conviction Day. They were convicted in 1995 of a murder, and it was thrown out in 2015. Jim Parsons, 23 years of what nearly became a life sentence. Evan King, 23 years in prison, and he was released. He was convicted in 95 and released in 2017. Recently, like I said, Alfred Cleveland, he was not an Ohio Innocence Project exoneree. We have Jenny, how do you pronounce her last name? Lefevre. Sorry, I'm horrible with pronouncing names, but I guess it's my own fault because my last name is Mcclendon, and my maiden last name, no one ever got it right. It was always crazy. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a break now that we went ahead and threw that list out there. But keep in mind, guys, wrongful conviction is extremely serious.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I am so excited to be here on Progress Drive at Harlan Sharp, the best rocker arms in America. These were our very first sponsors, and they're coming home. Yay! And with me, I have Randy Sharp Jr. My first question for you, Randy. Harlan Sharp, how long ago did it start?
Started, I believe it actually got started back in the late 1950s in a garage in Parma Heights. And it was actually Harlan's garage. He was a local tool and die maker who had a knack for speed, and a couple of the neighbors knew he was good at doing his handiwork. So they approached him and said, do you think you can make this for him? So, like most businesses in America that start out with some crazy idea, he made one, he made another, word got out, people started getting interested, started asking him, hey, can you make me some of these rocker arms? And, sure enough, he said, yeah, why not?
For the most marvelous and memorable trophies and awards, Minota's Trophies and Awards is the place you want to go for any special celebration or special event.
That's Minota's Trophies, 734 Alpha Drive, Highland Heights, Ohio, 440-720-1288.
Tell them Kudra sent you.
For more than 20 years, the Life Act team has been helping to save lives in Northeast Ohio. By educating teens to understand and identify the warning signs of depression, Life Act empowers them with the tools they need to get help for themselves or another in order to help prevent suicide. Life Act's dedicated and caring instructors have delivered our educational face-to-face suicide program to over 170,000 students in Northeast Ohio since 2000. They relay their knowledge of this sensitive topic and present it in a way that keeps middle and high school students engaged and open to sharing. Our office staff maintains a passionate community for this organization while ensuring long-term viability and success in our mission. To learn more about volunteering for Life Act, call 216-464-3471 or email cbarr@lifeact.org. Life Act is located at 29425 Chagrin Boulevard, Suite 203, Cleveland, Ohio, 44112. Again, contact 216-464-3471 for volunteer services or if you need help. Also, you can email Life Act at info@lifeact.org.
Has violence happened to you or your family? Violence can affect all parts of your life, sometimes in ways you can't see. Violence can affect the way you eat, sleep, and cause you to lose focus, feel angry, afraid, or even use drugs or drinking as a way to escape. But listen, violence doesn't have to keep hurting, and you can change your life starting now with help from the Trauma Recovery Center. Take control of your life. Today can be the day. The Trauma Recovery Center offers real help for real needs in real time. They offer services for emotional support, food, clothes, safety, and a whole lot more. So listen, don't let violence control you. You can break free, and TRC can help. Give them a call at 216-644-5487. They will come to you wherever you are. Call today. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They can give you the tools to rebuild your life and your health. Call today. It's free, 24/7, and confidential. So look, if you want out and you don't know where to start, call the Trauma Recovery Center. The Trauma Recovery Center can help you take back your life after violence starting today. Call today. Get the help you need today. They will respond today. Give them a call, 216-644-5487. Affiliated with the Center for Families and Children and also part of the Northeast Ohio Coalition Life Act. Free groceries and much more at 6812 Woodland Avenue every first and third Saturday of every month from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. as a part of Major Care Ministries partnering with the Cleveland Food Bank. The address is 6812 Woodland Avenue, and once again, it's the first and third Saturday of every month from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Also at 11 a.m., they serve free hot meals, and they have a free clothes giveaway for children and adults. So if you need the help, or if you have a friend that needs help, go tell your friend and tell their friends. 6812 Woodland Avenue every first and third Saturday of the month from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And don't forget about those hot meals at 11 a.m. and the free clothes giveaway for women, men, and children.
Okay,
I got your love. You need to look no
Hey everyone, thank you again for joining us this wonderful, amazing Wednesday. Spreading love unapologetically here in No Static Radio. Lex and I would like to thank everyone that joined us here and listened to Epic as we spread our love unapologetically today. Again, we can be reached at epicxteam20@gmail.com. www.epicxteam.org is our website. We are bringing Miss Giulepsy Carr, our host for Spreading Love Unapologetically, in studio now. What you got for us this week, Giulepsy?
Oh, a whole bunch of stuff.
We missed you last week.
Yeah,
We
thank
did.
you. Y'all
Yeah,
did.
we missed
Yes.
you last
I
week.
was here.
You were here in the cut.
You were here in the cut.
Mhm. Hi, everybody. My name is Miss Carr, and everybody knows I'm with Adjusting Lives, Healing Hearts. I am formerly incarcerated, so I want to give a shout out to all my formerly incarcerated individuals all over the United States. There's a lot of us, and somebody was saying earlier, we would love, just a couple of you guys to give us information. If you don't want to be involved, just, give us some information. That's what we're looking for. We can't do it by ourselves, and we're not trying to do it by ourselves. The other thing is T-shirts on sale.
T-shirts.
Phone lines open, 216-939-5087. I just want to talk about, I do actual programming within the institutions or prisons, jails, whatever. I've been in Franklin County Jail. I had started out with 13 men, graduated 8. So the men that I program with are awaiting trial. So they're in transition. They're in the jail trying to fight their cases or whatever it may be. So they do transition. So to graduate 8 was great. Mm-hmm. And it was great to talk to some people who really know they made a mistake and really was like, love for somebody to come in and listen. And it was, but it was very hopeful for me. It was very emotional, of course, because some of them been in there 2 years, and I don't know if people don't know about the jails.
Yeah, it's overcrowded and everything.
But wow, how they live is horrible.
Yeah, my husband
Beyond
came
horrible.
Cuyahoga County, 2000. They brought him up here for no reason, and he said that was the worst time he's ever done in 20 years.
Yeah, a lot
And he's
of
been to
people
county
say,
before.
a lot of people say they can't wait to get to prison versus jail, just because of how they have to.
They're stacked up
To live.
on top of
Absolutely.
each other.
So they haven't seen the sun, some in 14 months, some in 2 years. They don't wreck, they don't do anything. So the social services department in, Franklin County is doing well trying to get people programmed in, because of course, as we know, they're not doing anything. So if we out here still came to be depressed and negative and all the things that we did during the pandemic, just imagine being contained in one area and one space with nothing. So I was glad that they, let me in. I think I started in February, and we did 6 weeks. And as I said, I had 13, graduated 8. But I just want to go so what we teach and what we ended up doing is they all will have a trade name, meaning they all have already started a business. They will have
great.
Yes. So inspiration, hope, and that's what I do. I give them hope. So they all named their businesses, and they wrote some messages that they wanted me to read.
Okay.
And I'm just going to read it as they wrote it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to critique it.
No, that's all the way real.
Yeah.
So
Of course, I'm not going to divulge any names at this present time because I didn't get a release from them. So our first statement is, it's only one God, trust him, positive thoughts only and always.
Wow.
The devil is not allowed. Doubt is not an option. Please educate yourself and read a lot of books.
There you go.
Hey. Find you, be you, love you, and remember, if you do what most won't, you'll know how to do what most can't. Don't live in a box and let anything or anyone define you except you. Life is a distraction. How others hate to see young Black men win. How great minds do good together. That's all he wrote. He wrote life is a distraction as well, so stay focused.
Got to.
If people worry about themselves more than they worry about everyone else, they would be more successful.
That's always. Listen, that's always one of the things. If people minded their own business.
Say that again. Say that one more time.
Yeah. If people worried about their own business more than they worried about everyone else's, they would definitely be
more
a legend
successful.
for sure.
He said, wounds heal, but memories don't.
Right.
Radio message. Don't let anyone take away your peace. Guard it with your life. If you can maintain your peace, even through the toughest of situations, you will be free no matter what your physical circumstances. So this is one of the guys' business name is going to be, it's an acronym, RAMP, Restored, Appreciated, Mentored, and Proven.
Yeah.
Then we have another guy, he's going to have it's called Zay's Fitness Club. Phoenix Recovery Systems. And they've actually drew their business. They actually did their logos.
Okay. I like that shark one. What's the name of that one?
The shark is Sharks Remodeling and Demolition Home Service.
Just remember all these names. This is out of Franklin County?
Yep.
So if you're near Columbus and any of
this
these
is around.
businesses pop up.
And the reason why I'm showing them is because this is work. This is what we do. This is what I do. You know, too many people can't collect this type of information. This is valuable information. These few pieces of paper. You know, this is what all the other corporations and people say that they do reentry. This is reentry.
Yeah, it's the work.
This is reentry. This is the work. Going in, having people. First of all, just going in. They are people. They are human. And being transparent, which is what we as people do.
Right.
I mean, it's the big. It's just I can't comprehend how people have done, and you know, as far as the presently justice involved people, just how human beings are really being done in this day and age. It's really unreal. And the reason why I bring it up is because I've got a lot of direct messages directly to me with misappropriate information, and because people have phobias and people want to discriminate for whatever reasons. This is not what this platform is, and this is not what we do. Everybody has their own experiences. Clearly, my experience is a formerly justice involved individual, because I did 14 years in a prison system. So that is my experience. And this is our radio show. This is our platform. This is our social media account. This is our money. This is our t-shirts. This is our stuff. So Spreading love unapologetically means all inclusive. This is what we do. All inclusive.
Right.
Period. All inclusive. So this is vital. This is important. I'm just glad that this has came around full circle. I wanted to show this stuff so people will know that we are doing the work because we bring information. Everybody has tablets. You see, everybody has pens. Everybody is correct with their statistics and information. Spreading love unapologetically. When you click on here, this is what it's going to be. When you follow us and our information on any platform, this is what it's going to be. We're about helping those who cannot help themselves. Why? Because we're involved or are people who were in those situations. That's it.
It's a problem because we are affected
Yes.
by some way, shape, or form.
Yes. So if we would stop the world, because we all been in this for the last year, nobody has any power, because if they did, it wouldn't have been the devastation that we went through last year. So what's the message? What am I saying? Everybody, it's time to spread love unapologetically.
Together.
That is it.
As a whole.
Together, as a whole,
force.
as a force. No ifs, ands, buts. Everybody feel it. Everybody has felt the devastation from the events. And it means something.
Mm-hmm.
A mass epidemic, or did they say it's not a world disaster or something? It's an epidemic.
It's not a pandemic
It's not
anymore.
right. It's an epidemic. It was just a pandemic. Now it's an epidemic. In any case, it means pay attention to something.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to something. We missed some information. Pay attention to it because we have no power. So spread love, people. That's it. Spread
Be
love.
kind.
Be kind.
Every day.
I feel like, and maybe you guys can chime in too, I feel like at the beginning of the pandemic, there was love everywhere, wasn't there?
Mhm.
There was compassion, there was just kindness, and a year later, still there's residual of it, but I just feel like, not that it's back to normal,
Mhm.
quote unquote, but people are losing that sense of love and
That
compassion
Right.
and just kindness,
And I'm glad you said that, because the pandemic equates to being incarcerated.
Yeah,
So the whole world was in their house, in prison.
incarcerated, right?
Didn't know if they was going to have water, if anybody was going to be able to go to the store or anything. You were in prison. Everybody has been in prison. So what do we do? Did you want somebody to be mean to you? Did you want somebody to help you? There's a bunch of people had to have help.
Yeah, we tuned in yesterday.
People that
with-
had to have the food delivered and stuff. I mean,
You needed
literally
toilet
from
paper,
neighbors.
right?
You had
Did
to
your
get
neighbor
toilet
got some
paper.
toilet
Yeah,
paper?
it
Right.
was all kind of occurrences. Prison is just like being incarcerated. It's no different. So all human beings matter, no matter what
No
situation.
one's life is worth less than anyone else's.
None. Everybody matters. So that's why I go into Franklin County Jail with the men who probably, all of them facing life, all of them been killed somebody, or been accused of killing someone. They still human beings. They wrote papers, they drew, they did art, not because they got to come out of their place where they live at, because that's honestly what they felt.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't have to write nothing and just sit there.
Well,
And they
and that's the
learned.
thing, like,
Yes.
even with like Ohio Department of Corrections putting rehabilitation in with DOC, and it's DOC isn't where the rehabilitation comes from. Like the rehabilitation starts with the person from within themselves. You know,
Yeah.
change comes from you within yourself. So for them to put the fancy word in for DRC, all it is putting band-aids on things, covering things up and hiding it and masking things. And it's sickening because, people are like, oh, eye for an eye. They did, did the crime,
Mm-hmm.
do the time. Okay, well, they are, but we aren't giving them any type of resources or anything to better themselves, period.
Right. And that's like, just, you going into Franklin County, you know, you're reaching men that possibly aren't facing any hope.
Mhm.
You know, for somebody to come in there and be like, okay, this is what I'm presenting you.
Mhm.
This could make changes to your life. You had what, 12 and graduated 8? Is that
I
what I
had
heard?
13.
13?
graduate. Well,
Okay,
yeah,
so
because they went, because like right now, 3 or 4 of them got sentenced. So
Okay,
so they're there. They could be sentenced, be there one week, not the next week, stuff like that. Yeah.
so yeah, for those 8 men that graduated, they have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they formulated, you gave them the tools, they formulated a plan that, you know, once their life comes together, they've got something.
Yeah.
And, you know, it does come from within.
Yeah.
You know, if they wouldn't have signed up for whatever reason, you know, signed up to make a difference. Same difference. And in prison, you know, the ODRC has programming internally and also externally, like from what you're doing too. So hopefully, you know, maybe that's something that we're going to be working on, you know, to get in and run some programs, because it doesn't always look the same. You know,
Right.
what the DRC has in their mind, I don't know, but I feel like us being directly impacted, we have a different outlook on, you know, what things can be tools for the men and women, especially, you know, someone like you who's been inside, you know, and if we can make just a teeny bit of difference in that, like let's spread that love, let's do it, because, you know, it's people like us and organizations like ours who are going to make something happen.
Yeah. So coming to an institution near somebody
In Ohio
will be
somewhere.
our full program. So, you know, we already doing it. Like I said, we're in. If I'm in, we in. Whatever everybody's doing is a collaboration.
Right.
So, yeah.
We all look hard.
So when they get out, they'll have their trade names already registered with the state of Ohio. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
So,
dope.
and it on, you know,
And that's all it really takes, is providing them that hope, that faith, and more importantly, the resources.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, because I mean, if I wouldn't know how to do that, then I'm not. Then I'm right here. I'm right in front of you. I don't know how to do that. Now, granted, I got at my fingertips, but if I had somebody to show me and to guide me, I mean, I'm gonna win.
Yeah, they was on top of the world because they couldn't believe. I mean, and if just think, you got a trade name and you might not never get out, but you still got
you
your
got it.
registered trade name. That's it.
It's
Yeah.
So
an
that's just hope to
accomplishment.
make it. You know, they gonna make it through wherever. There's no doubt in my mind,
Right.
because that's just a seed of hope.
Yep.
If somebody would have did that for me, of course I got out, started my own business anyway.
Right.
Look how far we'll be. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Yeah, that's heartwarming for real.
yeah,
You know.
it's just is and that's what we do. And I can't say it enough. We're in need of formerly incarcerated individuals to
Call us,
come on board.
email us, reach out.
We need it. I mean, we can't do it. You know, it's just me within an organization with a lot of people that are not incarcerated, have been incarcerated. They just are affected by it, indirectly affected by it. So for me to find a group of people like that was, you know, mind-boggling for me. And so of course I jumped on the bandwagon immediately, because you know, you don't find people who haven't been incarcerated that, let alone people.
Exactly. Yeah.
So and as groups. So
Well, and that's the thing, you know, I like the formation that we've created here, because, you know, we all get along great. We pull together as a team. You know, we have our own agendas, and it doesn't make conflict, you know, for what we're trying to do as a whole together. But definitely more room for others to join in. Lots of work to be done. Yeah.
Thanks, Jacoby. I'm sorry.
Hey, Coco. How are you?
Okay.
So that's that wrapped up, and surprisingly, Franklin County wanted me to go back in like you know, they were like, well, let us pay you
Nice. Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, good.
So that's something, and anybody in Franklin County that's a teacher, mentor, peer support, somebody like that.
Franklin County, looking for y'all.
Yes, I'm looking to, that's gonna have to be passed off because we're gonna be doing the women, and then we're gonna be doing here as well. So I wanted to talk about some upcoming stuff. Phone lines are open, 216-939-5087.
I know, where y'all at
Nobody
today,
has called us
callers?
in a while. So, in April, we had talked about this for a while. We're going to try to have a couple of mini telethons. And if people don't know what that is, that's people calling in, donating stuff. And
Like they used to have on WVIZ.
Yes. Like Jerry.
Oh yeah,
Lewis used to have-
or the PBS.
After
is that
Barney.
is that the PBS? You said after Barney.
Anyway, you don't reinvent the wheel. You just do some other
Exactly.
stuff. So that's innovative. Nobody's doing it. It's something, it might be fun. Next week, I'm going to have a couple artists. They're probably going to be not in here live. They'll be in by one of social media anyway, but they are, they have their own platforms and stuff like that. And they want to do kind of like a concert type of thing.
Oh, okay.
So they're into helping people, they've been in some whatever. They're I guess according to the genre of their music, it might be considered Christian rap, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something. Anyway, but they're artists.
Powerful.
And they're powerful.
We gonna make our own genre, right?
Who
Powerful.
want to come and showcase their stuff on the radio. So we'll probably be bringing in one a week in between whatever we're doing. So
Okay.
next week we'll have an artist come in and he'll do maybe 15 to 20 minutes or whatever. We're going to do the telethon. We're going to start, hopefully, in next month, we'll start naming where we're going to be boots on the ground at. So we're going to start.
Springtime. It's springtime.
Starting to
Summertime.
pop up.
Rally.
Yes.
Lobbying.
Right. We're going to pop up somewhere and do something. Sell some t-shirts, talk to some people, get some information. Hopefully we'll be coming into our own space as far as a place, physical place for all of us in the area before the winter comes again. So we got a lot of things going on.
Sponsors. We're looking for sponsors. Get a hold of us on spreading love unapologetically @gmail.com. Donations are always greatly appreciated and accepted. Every dollar adds up, no amount too small.
Mhm.
We each have our own individual, LLC or nonprofit, and we self-fund for the most part, but it shouldn't be like that. It takes a lot of support from the communities and supporters, donations, to really keep a organized organization pushing forward.
Yeah.
So if you have anything, I know everyone got them stimulus checks recently. If you guys are
Send a
trying
few
to find a
dollars.
good reason
Stimulate
or a good
us.
cause to send
Stimulate
$1,
us.
$2, maybe $5, please reach out to us.
That would be spreading love.
That would definitely be spreading love unapologetically. Some of our bigger goals is we, to have as many reentry homes throughout the state of Ohio. Gay Lisa said all of them.
All 88. We're gonna have 88.
Yep. Whatever.
So definitely looking for sponsors, donations, funding, the whole 9 yards. We are definitely a coalition, action over clout. Nothing we do is for ourselves or for the fame of us nor our organizations. We do this in solidarity together as a force.
Indeed.
So we're also going to be launching a young entrepreneur program. That's why everybody sees my grandson. Say hi, grandson.
Hi.
What's your name?
They can't
Huh?
hear
We
you.
can't hear you. We can't see you. You gotta come up.
Where?
I'm trying to think.
Come right here by me.
Yeah, come by Gina.
Or you can
Or over
bring
by
your chair
grandma.
over here.
Over that way.
There you go.
I'll show you here. Make sure your hands. Mine's warmed up. Sit right there. Oh, he took his slides off.
Mhm. You don't like to
Go
bring
sit
up
in that
shoes.
chair.
So yeah, the end result to our programs is making the future for the kids. You know, we save the people, we help the people, and they can be better for their kids.
Yep.
Because our future is not looking too good. You know, as far
Our children
as
are in trouble.
bad,
Horribly in
Bad.
trouble, yes.
bad. So yeah, this is just like full circle. This is why I do it for him, you know, and people his age.
Yeah, changing things before he gets to that age. You
Mhm,
have to.
mhm. So him and another young lady that lives in Michigan, she's 11. She has already created her products and stuff.
Okay.
So him and her, we're going to have a lunch of young entrepreneur program.
All
Nice.
right.
Yeah.
We're excited.
Yeah. So what do you like to do? So he's a gamer.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite right now? What are you playing?
Mostly Roblox.
Roblox.
Mm-hmm.
You like Minecraft? Yeah. I don't understand. I don't know. I've
None
never-
of them.
My kids
I
love
don't know how to do any of them. I've heard of both of those before though.
Mhm. So yeah, I just wanted to. I think that's almost everything on my list. So yeah, adjusted lives, healing hearts, BAM, epic.
Mhm.
We do it. Spreading love unapologetically.
Do we have a umbrella, a cash app, or we have each of our individuals?
Just individually for them to keep
Okay,
track.
because we want to post. Somebody asked that in the chat.
Yeah, so phone lines are open 216-939-5087. March 28th, we have a homecoming. I put it out a couple of months ago. We were trying to raise funds for one of the ladies that's getting out. She's done a lot. You know, she's been back and forth, you know. So she's, you know, getting out now. And she's actually got housing and everything.
That's
So
another thing. Spring cleanings here. If anyone has any type of donations, whether it be clothing, men, women,
Yes.
you know, anything that you feel could help someone that is coming out of incarceration to society. I mean, we'll come pick
Household
it up.
items.
You know, reach out to us. Like I said, there's 3 organizations here. There's no excuses why no one could get a hold of any of us.
Mhm.
Please. We are, even those type of donations are
Yeah.
even better than monetary
Because we
donations.
can get him from like the Dayton area, the Columbus area, all the way up north. So
For sure.
we're in need, and we're trying to do a lot. We really are. If you follow our Facebook pages and stuff, you'll know what we're trying to do as far as helping people. So we creating like a storage space, so nothing is not. We will take anything, you know, long as it's decent, you know, presentable, whatever. And we want to help as many people coming out and just be there for somebody at the gate when they come out is so important. Just having
Mentoring.
somebody,
You know.
to talk to. So she did everything that she was told to do, and she will come out to housing. She's older, so she won't. She doesn't really need the employment because she's going to have to do something. But still, she did what was instructed by her. And like I told the guys, you know, they have all the information for me. I'm also going to. They only got 5 weeks, and we will continue the other 7 weeks through the mail.
Okay.
So it's going to be like a correspondence course. So people who want some information to send to their loved ones, or, you know, give them, you know, something inspirational or something to think about because they're just sitting there. That is available too, as well. You know, the curriculum or whatever. Just let me know, and I'll start a correspondence with the individuals because that's something that we can do now. That I believe that we can just, you know, get it out there more is, you know, the mail.
Right.
Yeah,
It
the
may
mail
take
system,
a minute
yeah.
to get there,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it'll get there eventually. But.
So I know they don't have nothing to do and they calling home hysterical and frustrated and violent and all that. We have some stuff that we could send them, you know, through the mail, and they can write us back and forth. So So March 28th, she's going to be released from here on East 30th.
Okay.
And if we would love to have a few people there just to be there when she walk out the gate.
What day of the week is that? The 28th.
28th.
Sunday.
Is it Sunday?
Sunday, yeah.
I'll be there. Bam, if you guys are
Yeah.
still tuned in, I think that would be great too, because they do a lot of work in the women's prisons.
So we did raise $105 for her, so she'll have that.
Good. Okay.
And then I don't know what clothing or whatever we'll have. So, what else? Let's recap.
Shirts for sale. Logo on the front, $25.
Yeah.
What else?
Sponsorships.
Sponsorships. We have sponsorships going as well. Actually, let me
Where's
pull
your
out the
show the
shirt.
sponsor shirt?
Let me pull the shirt out. We know those listening
Yes,
can't
I'm
see.
saying,
However, those watching, we'd like to show you sponsorship shirts. T-shirt logo on the front. And then on the back here, your logo on top. Sponsors, our 3 logos, and then our slogan, action over clout.
Get you a shirt.
Get them while they're hot.
Yeah.
Those
Phone
are for
lines are open.
sponsors, sponsor shirts.
216-939-5087. Shout out to Shore Center Laundry, 22451 Shore Center Drive. Mr. and Miss Ian and Debbie Lee.
Mm.
That's about all I got.
We actually have a very important meeting. Epic does March 30th. We will be meeting up with Cecil Thomas via Zoom with Max Parthas, Abolish Slavery National Network, one of the coalitions we partnered with nationally for abolishing the 13th Amendment. Him and I will be meeting up with Cecil to try to get that legislation back to being introduced again, so that we can once and for all abolish slavery here in the state of Ohio.
That should be a great meeting. I'm interested to see how that's.
Yeah, I'm excited. But yeah, and then I discussed before you got here, we've got a couple in-house guests coming in soon. Alfred Cleveland, I'm sure you've heard of him. Doing a lot of great artwork here in Ohio. Melinda Elkins as well.
I added Karina in. If you got, if you want to add anything.
Karina, any last words from you, love?
Hey,
Any
Karina.
last word of spreading love?
You did awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Hey, yeah. After I got through the nerve part.
Yeah, that's it. I'll still be sitting up here nervous. I like it. I don't have nothing-
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, I should be over this by now.
That's
But
Gina.
I just want to shout out to the ladies in the BAM organization and Teresa, Tamora, Chrissy, Heidi, Gail, Fancy. Without all of you guys, we can do all this, and I'm just so happy to be us all joining together with each organization, and I think we're going to make positive changes. And if there's anybody in the Springfield, Urbana, Bellefontaine, London, and even Southern Ohio, that has any resources or job openings or housing openings, please get in touch with by any means.
What you just have a Facebook page, Karina, or you guys have a website that I can plug?
We have the Facebook page right now. I believe we're still working on a website. I don't know the status of that right now. That's not my lane. So I need to find out about that. But We have our email by any means at gmail.com. And I think we posted it in the feed.
Yeah.
And we have a phone number. I gotta find that. I haven't called it, so I'm so prepared.
You're
Oh,
good.
it's all right.
You're good.
Didn't we just say, Karina? We all just be up here. I mean,
I don't have the phone number in my contacts right now. It's in the wrong. I can't find it. I got 2 different contact lists. I'm a mess.
yeah.
There's a lot of work to do, Karina. I always say I wish I could clone myself.
Really.
Yep. People want to be involved. You don't have to be formally
Maybe one of my
accredited.
other ladies can post that.
Hang on, I'm looking for your guys' number now.
Thank you.
All right, it's BAM's phone number 614-285-7730. Again, that is 614-285-7730. My lovely VP, Alexis, will have that posted in the chat.
ALHH number is 216-299-6178.
And you can reach out.
299-6178.
There we go. Epic 614-207-2407.
And you guys know how to find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
The whole 9
the
yards.
whole TikTok,
Bigo.
Bigo.
And every Wednesday here on StreamYard and No Static Radio, LLC.
Any last words?
Nope. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Shout out to the Epic team, the BAM team, and Miss Gay Lisa Carlin herself.
Goodbye.
See y'all next week. Our young entrepreneur says goodbye as well. Any last words, young man? No? All righty. All right, everybody. Until next week.
We out.
Love.
Pretty love.